Hello, Teacher Rachel. That's me. Here with a VIPkid question. One thing that a lot of people ask me is, what kind of money can I make teaching VIPkid? What does it make an hour? The question is, it depends on you. Or the answer is, it depends on you. VIPkid doesn't pay by the hour. It pays by the class. You get paid to teach a class. That includes the prep work and the feedback. Whatever you put into it, that's your time. So how does this work? When you go to your interview and they say, okay, we decided we want to hire you. They either will say yes or no. And you're hired, they give you an amount. If you have a teaching certificate, you can make a little more. Depending upon how impressed they are with you, they will start at $7 per class. If you have a teaching certificate, they will start you at $8.50 or $9 a class, usually. The pay scale goes all the way up to the top they will offer anybody is $10 an hour per class. Okay? You get a raise, or you qualify for a raise review once a year. Every 2 contracts, they have 5 or 6 criteria on you have to meet all of that to get a raise. It is either you are or you don't. Too many absences, too many cancellations, no shows, your parents don't review you. Some of it's not in your really in your control. Depends on whether or not you get a raise. So you want to start as high as possible. The raises come in 50-cent increments. I think per class, but it may be per hour. Probably per class. So what do you have to do for this amount? In order to get your money, you teach basically a 25-minute class. So you have a 25 minutes. If you are on time, they will give you per class a $1 bonus. So if you start at $7 an hour, just be on time and you're making $8 an hour. $8 per class. Per class. Per class. Okay? Not per hour. This means you kind of get a $2 per hour raise. That's not bad. Okay? So you have prep work. My best prep work for classes I've taught over and over again is about 8 minutes. I always like to know a little bit about who I'm teaching. Is it a boy? Is it a girl? It's a big difference teaching an 11-year-old boy and a 6-year-old girl. Even if I have the identical classes back to back, they're not going to look a thing alike. So what I do is I make notes. At the top of my notes is the class, with the class code, what time, and what the subject is. And then an outline of what the class what is going to be taught in the class. At the very bottom, I have their name, notes about the student, how many classes I have taught for them, how many classes they've taken at VIPkid. It's a big difference in a kid that I've taught 50 classes to and I've taught almost all of their classes. And a kid, see, I didn't write all my notes down today, and a kid that has had 8 classes with VIPkid, it's just different. I also have their age. Usually I know by their names if it's a girl or a boy. You never know though. I have one's marked girls that are boys and one's marked boys that are girls. It's very obvious. You just go with it. A lot of the kids have a January 1st birthday. That just means the parents haven't gone in and changed their birthday to what it actually is usually. So your child may actually be younger. A good tip for that one is get them to smile and look to see if they have big kid teeth. If you see a gap in the bottom, you know this kid's probably young. If they've got all their permanent front teeth, you know they may be a little older. I've got one kid marked 8, still has all his baby teeth. He's not 8. So back to this. So you get prepping. The longest I prep is about 30 minutes for a kid I've never seen. I've never taught that class before, and I'm having to do a lot of creating my slideshows. I use Google Slides. There's a teacher group you can join and use theirs, and a lot of times I go in, I add some or I take out some, and it's just what I do. Some of these shows are made for minicam, for in the back, so it'll have what do you do next? I don't need that slide, so I take it out. Many of these slides are beginning to be mostly mine and less the groups, but it's fun. Once I've made the slides though, I can reuse them. So then you've prepped your class, you've taught your 25 to 28 minutes, and after the class you need to do feedback. Again, the shortest amount of time I've spent on feedback is about 3 minutes for a child that had taken an assessment. There's one box to fill out, and he'd done great. There was really nothing to say. Your kid blew the top off of it. You know, he did an excellent job. He went way above the parameters, and you know, 3 minutes. Oh, but what if you've got Johnny who, how do you say it politely? Your child's a mess. That's whole nother topic. It may take 30 minutes to, how do you politely word? One of the best things to say, I highly suggest you sit down with him and watch the class and help him practice his sentences. Let mom see. Believe me, they'll be much better behaved in the next class. So you may be making $7 per class and be spending an hour on the class. That means you're only making $7 an hour. But like I said, if you're on time, in general, I would say I spend 40 to 60 minutes per class with the prep work and the feedback and actually teaching the class. I have got a few students that I spend a little extra time working with them. They have leveled up, but maybe they're very young, they're not reading real well, or their speaking skills are like way up here, but their reading skills are way down here, or vice versa. They read, they don't speak. It's hard to get them to get an answer. Sometimes I spend a little extra time in class and I hit closer to the 30-minute mark, especially if I don't have a next class. Now also, on top of this dollar bonus, when you reach 35 classes, they add 50 cents per class. No, it's 30. At 30 classes, they add 50 cents for each class. And when you reach 45, they add $1. Okay, so you get hired at $7. You're always on time, so you get $8. And then you teach over 45 classes. Now you're making $9 per class. Okay, that's good, I think. And that's if you're starting at $7 an hour. At $7 per class. So that's how they make bonuses. You also get tokens participating in the Hoop Kong. Get feedback. They'll give you classes if you take workshops. Sometimes they'll give you tokens. And these you can trade in for. They've got a little store. You can buy shirts or gift cards for Starbucks and Amazon. Printouts, things like that. There's a discount club you can join as a teacher. And then sometimes they will do money incentives. When I first joined, was right around Thanksgiving. And if you opened all of your classes, all of your peak times, this is from Beijing time, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., so 2 hours. There's peak time. And if I opened all of those times for short notice, so I could be booked up to 1 hour before the class started and teach this class, they gave us bonuses. It was about $25 a week. Because I was a new teacher, I had no classes. And so I did that the week of Thanksgiving. Now that's 4 a.m. where I live. I was not used to getting up at 3:30 in the morning to teach classes, but I survived. You take a nap after class sometimes. You find out how little sleep you can live on. It's worse as you go towards the Pacific Coast. It gets better if you're on the East Coast. I'm in the Central Time Zone. So anyway, they gave bonuses for short notice or peak times. And I booked my first class on Christmas Eve. The eve of Christmas Eve, like 1:30 in the morning. I just had started opening slots all over the place, and one booked. Great. Christmas Eve I had 2, and then Christmas Eve I had 4. All 4 of those slots booked. Christmas Day I had all 4 of those. So I'm teaching at 4 o'clock in the morning, 2 hours straight, brand new teacher. I survived, and you will too. It's not that hard. Just remember that these kids are reviewing a lot of this material, and if you're not teaching like lesson 1, they've got pre-work, they've got post-work, and if they're doing their job, your job is easy, really easy. It's that's how you get paid. Your top pay, if you're making that $10 an hour, $10 per class, what you're really making is 12 a class. If your 7 actually turns into 9, and it is what you make of it. So if you are a wordy person, it may take you 2-3 hours per class. If you're too overly worried about your feedback, if you spend too much time prepping for a class. When I first started, I would like pull all my props and have them in little plates and swap them out between my classes. It worked. Now I have this pile, and I know what I need. I know what I use. I just grab it. And I use my Google Slides. So I have stuff that's on the floor. Pull something out and everything falls out. I have awards. Right now everyone's getting leaves for the fall. It gives us a chance to talk about fall, the holiday of Halloween. It's a cultural exchange. So don't be afraid to talk about what America's doing, and be sure to ask, what are you doing? Tell me about the Moon Festival. Tell me about Chinese New Year. Tell me about your school day. You're going to be really surprised at their school day. They're always in school. They're always doing homework, even if they're like 4 years old. It's like school is their life. You're just one small part of it. So make their day bright, a bright spot. That's it for today. That's how you get paid. Bye-bye.